Hi, in this video we're going to learn how to use RStudio to complete homework assignments. Let's have you start right here on the course canvas for getting started and click on the link that says Practice Homework. Start here and you'll get a link that will show you the following video that you're actually watching. And the first task in our video is to click on the RMD Practice Homework RMD file. This is a file of questions and instructions. It's the basis for your homework assignment. So click on it and you'll be given a choice about what to do, and please, for the love of God, please do not open it. Click on Save File and click OK. And you'll notice that it will go into your Downloads folder. And so that's where we want it to reside, somewhere on your computer. If you're really curious about what ultimately homeworks and things are going to look like, you could click on this PDF and it will show a processed version hiding all the code and the results, and you'd be able to see what's going on. Click on the next arrow, go to the next page in our tutorial. And the next thing we need to do is get you logged into RStudio. So click right here on the link that will take you to the RStudio web server and get yourself logged in with your University of Minnesota ID and your password. And should open up into a console window on the left that's empty. Your upper right and lower right windows should be empty, kind of looking like this. And what we want to do is, now that you're logged in, is maybe get some additional packages installed and get your homework file up into your work area. So let's go get that instructions file, and that'll be right here under Upload. And let's go browse your Downloads folder and find that RM. And in your Downloads folder you'll see that there is RMD Practice Homework, our markdown file. Click on Open. OK, and it uploads it right here. Go ahead and click on that and it will open, and you'll see a document that has a bunch of gray areas and a bunch of white areas, and anything that's a white area is something that you can click and you can type and put your answers. Anything that's a gray area is our statistical analysis code, and you want to stay out of those kind of areas. Let's start up here at the top. You can see that in line 2 we have the name of our document is Stat 1601 Practice Homework. In line 3 we can put our names, given name and family name. Let's get rid of those and put our name in there. I'll put John Anderson. And in line 5 you can see that we're going to be making a PDF document. As you scroll down in here you can see that in lines 14, 15, and 16 there's some commands here which are instructing the R software to load and install some additional code called packages. Line 15 says to install a package called knitter. 16 says there's a package or a library you need to load called OpenIntro, ggplot2, and so forth. That's additional pieces of code that the R system is going to need to process this particular homework. And if you go in the lower right corner there's a tab called Packages. And in Packages there's an instruction here for installing additional ones, and you want to click on Install. And you want to type in the names in this white box. called packages, you want to type in the names of the packages you want, like knitter and OpenIntro and ggplot2. I've put those in the tutorial. You can just copy those names, or you can type them, but I'm going to copy those names, go back here and paste them in, and then click on Install. And then after install is finished or running, it may take a few minutes, we'll go back to our tutorial and notice that there are some additional package names that we would like to install. So grab that big long list of package names. Notice all the package names are separated with spaces between the names. Copy those and let's install a new bunch of packages. Just paste all those package names in this box and then click install again. And that was a big long list, and that might take you a while to install, but all of those packages need to be there, because if you want to process this particular homework, you'll need to have the packages installed, and you'll click on like this knit button. So I'll just click on it right now and show you what happens. There's processing happening, and then a nice PDF processed document comes up that has the title of our homework, Stat 1601 Practice Homework. The name of the author, John Anderson, is listed, and then you can see there's some text here describing what's going on, and then there's a little section that's called Problem 1. Well, Problem 1 starts right here in line 42 of the document. It's a heading. It's a triple hash heading, which puts in a little subtitle, and it's called Problem 1. And if you notice, what we're going to do in Problem 1, in this gray code block, line 52 is going to read in some data that I've posted out on the internet about university professor salaries, and it's going to put that salary data in a data frame object called AAUP. And then in line 57, we're going to summarize and do some summary statistics for the data frame AAUP. And if you look at our process document, you'll notice here's the summary command, and there's a bunch of summary statistics about salaries that are computed for us. You'll also notice that in line 66, we are going to produce a graphical display, a histogram. I can see from this hist command that it's going to be a histogram. And the way you read this is with dataset AAUP data, we're going to make a histogram of the variable assistant professor salaries, annual salaries. And you can see that in the PDF document. If you scroll down, you can see that there is a histogram there. So one thing you could do is go back and forth between the homework command document, reading what the questions are, like in line 61, it says, after you look at the histogram, describe the shape. Use terms and descriptive words provided in class. And you could go right down here in line 70 and type your answer, going back and forth from the PDF document. The other thing you could do, though, is process each of these code chunks individually from the top, starting at the top of the document. In the first gray code chunk area that loads packages, just click on the green little run arrow and it will process everything in that piece. Go to the next one, line 25 or so, process everything there. Line 52's chunk, load in the data. Notice that after you process this chunk with line 52, there's an AAUP data set that opens up data frame. If you want to, you could double click this and you could see the contents, and you can see a bunch of universities, their code numbers, what state they're in, what kind of university, a bunch of salaries, and then you can close that viewer, but you can at least see what kind of data you have. Then you can click on the green arrow for the summary, and you can see all those summary statistics get put right in the window. Going down to line 66, processing that little bunch of code, you can see that you get the histogram, and you can just look at it right here and answer the shape question right here in line 70. So if I look at that, it's pretty symmetric, but it does look like there's a little bit of a long right tail, which means I would type the distribution shape is slightly skewed to the right. There's a little bit of right skew. And you could continue through these code chunks and process them one at a time, or you could look at a big knitted document all at once that has all the graphs and all the summary statistical things there. If you go down to the very bottom of the document, you will notice that in line 140, 141, 142, there's a computation being performed, and if I click on the green arrow, it'll process everything there. And this shows you that the variable my answer in line 142 takes on the value of 37.289. In the text, you'll notice in line 145 there's a bunch of typing, and then there's a backtick R round my answer to 3 digits with a final ending backtick. And what that does is it tells R to put the value of the variable my answer right here and round it to 3 decimal places. And if you notice in the processed file down at the bottom, it says right where that is happening, it says and has value of 37.289. And so I never typed 37.289, I just told my homework to put the value of that variable here. Notice right next to it we have some Greek letters mu and sigma, and if you look back at the code, there's some opening and closing dollar signs with /mu and /sigma there to put math and Greek letter notation. Notice when I hover over that text, it shows me the processed versions. There's some more math notation with dollar signs down here, farther with summations and superscripts and subscripts. And I just want you to know that enclosing special math notation inside dollar signs will produce some formatted math symbols. I will primarily produce those for you. You won't need to know how to do that, but you need to know that it's happening. Let's give our document a final knit and processing, and the document successfully processes. We have all our answers here, like the distribution shape is slightly skewed to the right, and at this point I'll have you probably try to submit this homework. Let's go back to our tutorial and click on the next arrow. This is going to talk about adding content to your markdown file like we've been doing here in the video. Next screen says, well, we need to get our files to the RStudio server, process them. We've done that. And let's go back to RStudio and look at what we've produced. We've produced a PDF file of all our processed homework ready for submission. So let's get that to our computer and get it submitted. So click on the PDF file, not the markdown file of instructions, but the processed one that has all the graphs and things. Go to the blue more wheel gear here and do export. And let's download that to your downloads folder. Don't open it, save it, and it's now in your downloads folder. So we've completed that step, and then let's upload that file and turn it in on our Canvas homework. Let's click on the next window, and here it says let's turn in our homework. Let's turn in that PDF, and you're going to do that with the Submit Assignment button, and you click on it, and it says, well, put a file here. It needs to be a PDF. Well, let's browse and get it out of our downloads folder. And in all our files, here it is, RMD Practice Homework, PDF. Click on it, open it, and it says it's right here. Submit it, and it's submitting that file to your assignment, and you've just turned in a homework document. If you ever wanted to turn in another one, you could just click on resubmit, and it would allow you to put another document in there. Again, as always, let me know if you have questions.